New sense, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man.
Sweet, sweet. I appreciate you sitting down with us for do this conversation.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Talk about where we are real quick, because I am absolutely fascinated by the concept of this shed studio we got going here. This thing is sick.
So we're in my shed, converted into a studio. I got curtains on the walls, plants everywhere. We got books holding up the speakers, and yeah, it took about like 2 years to get it how it looks today.
And I don't know how much of this will be visible in the shot, but there's literally like just crazy art like all around us. Talk about this one real quick. Tell me, because Ethan told me the story of how this painting came to be, but I just want this to be on the record because this blew my mind.
So yeah, this is probably my most prized possession in here. It's the Taco Bell painting, the fire one. It also, I'm not even joking, there's 3 paintings and they all have hidden meanings to them. So this one represents hell, at least this is my interpretation, because it has fire in it and he's on empty. And if you look at the other one, it's him, it represents earth, because it's him and there's cars around and there's a street. And there's imagery of like earth, and then the other one, it's that guy ascending above into the heavens, so it represents heaven. And I got it because one of the Taco Bells near me, it was the neighborhood spot after high school. It shut down, so we just shot our shot at the manager people, and they let us have it for free.
I feel like every high school group of friends has like a fast food restaurant. It's like there's always one place you go and just mob whenever.
Yeah.
It's like for me, it's like a bunch of my friends, we always just go to Nations for no reason.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
like when we were in high school, after every whatever football game, party, whatever, it was always Nations after, because it's also open till like 2 a.m.
Yeah, it was always Taco Bell for the cross country people.
Oh, you ran cross country in high school?
Yeah, not seriously, but just for fun.
That's crazy.
For exercise.
I ran too. Jesse
Nice.
did too. That's funny. I didn't know you ran like that.
Yeah.
Do you still run?
No.
Yeah. It's a lot of people. All these books that are like lined over here on your desk and stuff. Are you a big reader? Like, have you read these all?
So when I originally did that, I wasn't at all a big reader. But lately, I've been getting more into it. Actually, just going to the library now that they're open, just vibing, getting some work done and stuff, and then reading a book too. But I haven't read these except for the Mushrooms of North America. I've read that one.
What's that one about?
It's just a catalog of mushrooms.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
What kind of mushrooms? Just ones you eat, or the good stuff? Or what kind of mushrooms?
They got everything, man. They got the good stuff. They got the poisonous one. It tells you if they're poisonous or like psychedelic or edible.
Do you ever feel like you have to go? Like have you ever felt that you had to go to like another studio to record something? Or do you really think of everything in here that you would ever need to record?
Oh, well, yeah. No, I like if I'm recording drums or any organic instruments, I'd rather it be in like a studio, like a bigger room. Or yeah, all I need is really just a bigger room. I can make it work in here though. It's just like, yeah, it would be more convenient for that type shit if I do that. So far my music's just been pretty like, I don't know, synth, or I don't know what it like in the box kind of stuff anyway. So it's been working out.
Do you record guitar in here?
Yeah.
And it's fully soundproofed, right? Or is it like...
It's semi-soundproofed now that the insulation is in here, is in the walls. It helps a little bit.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
How did you fund this whole thing? Like, were you working to buy all the stuff to put in here, or like...
So, yeah, I saved up money to, get, like, the mixer and, like, the MIDI keyboard. But, yeah, like, my parents helped out a lot, to be honest. Like, the renovation is all funded by my parents, to be honest.
And they were totally cool with you just like taking the whole thing over?
Yeah. Like as long as I did it all myself, like the renovation, like the drywall and stuff.
How long did it take you to like completely turn the shed? Like what was the total turnaround time?
Like renovation wise, like the drywall, about 2 months.
Wow. And then the entire like the process from beginning to end, how long did that take?
Well, like I said, it's technically still going. Like I just got the AC like a month ago or something. But I'd say around like two years to get it, like to get something I was like really, really like happy with, you know?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting. It's like, I feel like there's so many kids who just dream about shit like that. Like it's like, I'm gonna build a studio in the backyard, but it's like you actually went and did it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like a lot of, you know, I'm super grateful for my parents being hella supportive and stuff. Like
Are they
I owe a
supportive
lot
of
to
your music?
them. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
They're super like okay with you being in that field and I wanted to pursue it.
Yeah, they've always been pretty cool about it. Yeah, and yeah, I don't really have a lot of like musical people in my family, but you know, they're all like super into the arts and stuff though.
What kind of art? Like painting and stuff, or like?
Yeah, my mom will just do a lot of like house projects, you know. Yeah, she'll just like randomly like paint the house a certain like pattern or something, you know. She's always doing like artsy stuff. I don't know. And she's like really into musicals and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. So are you're originally from here, right? You grew up in this area?
Well, I grew up in or I was born in Ventura, and you know where that is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been there.
And then I moved up here in 3rd grade, and I've
Okay.
been here ever since.
Yeah, so you moved here in 3rd grade, and then you went to high school and everything around here as well?
Yeah.
That's cool. And then so after high school, you started community college, correct?
Yeah.
And then what are you studying there?
Music industry studies. Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever found it hard to kind of balance school and music? Because it's like it's fun. We're in a very similar like field because I'm at same community college, same major, and I haven't found the curriculum to ever be like too grueling to the point where it's like I can't like focus on above the bridge. Have you ever felt like overwhelmed trying to balance the two?
At DVC, the community college I go to, it's been really it's been really nice. Like it hasn't been a big problem at all. I feel like I can balance it pretty well. But yeah, when I was in high school, like it was a little hard. Also because, you know, that's when I kind of questioned, just because everyone in my high school was really like, oh, I got to take all these AP classes and I got to do this and this and this to become like, you know, what my parents want me to be. It's like very like an educational path, and I was kind of the only one that was like didn't want to do that. It seemed like, or fell into a different kind of thing that I wanted to do. So it was like that kind of pressure, but it was never really serious though. Then I was like, fuck it though.
Was it ever like distracting in school? Like did you ever find that like your grades or whatever would slip, or you would find yourself thinking about music more than you were thinking about school?
Yeah, no, all the time. That was like, it was bad. I was like a bad student, low key. But like I got my act together like sophomore year or something, kind of.
That's the cool thing about community college is like you can go and it's kind of like everything from high school is almost erased.
Yeah. And in community college, I like did a lot better, I think.
It honestly makes me regret trying in high school. Like now that I'm at community college, it makes me wish that like I just didn't care in high school and put all my time into something else, because I realize that now I'm at community college, it doesn't really matter because my grades are like what they are at community college, and that's what determines whether or not I can get into a different school and transfer somewhere. Like, my high school grades past that are irrelevant. So it's like, I wish I would have taken the time and kind of had the foresight to think, oh, I am going to community college, but I didn't know, to be honest. Did you know, like, when you were in high school that you were going to go to community college?
Yeah. Well, I tried to get into Berkeley, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Berkeley College of Music, and I did the whole like audition thing. But yeah, it always just seemed like in the back of my mind that community college was like the move. Like, and I'm glad it happened that way because it's really nice, and I've met all these like really nice people through it. So yeah, I'm glad it worked out how it did.
Is the plan after community college to try to go to somewhere musically? Like, are you going to apply to music schools, or are you going to more kind of stay in that industry lane?
I think I'm gonna stay in that industry lane. Just keep trying to hone the craft, and yeah, like meet like-minded people and stuff.
And you met a ton of people that you collaborate now with at DVC, right?
Yeah, like damn near everyone that I collaborate with now is either mutually from DVC, like through people I've met through DVC, they know someone, you know, or yeah, directly from DVC.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that kind of relinquishes the kind of falsity that people say when they say that you can't network in community college. I feel like you can to a certain extent. I don't feel like I've been able to because of COVID, but I feel like like for somebody like you or anybody who has actually been able to go to school, I think it's very practical to actually do something like network community college, honestly.
Yeah, I got in there like right before the COVID struck.
How's COVID been for you? Like the whole transition to online school and stuff. Has that been hard to focus?
Sometimes, but it's generally been fine. But yeah, like sometimes I'll get distracted with like fall into the same trap with like working on music when I'm supposed to be doing school stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I know that you said that when New Sense originally started, like this is when I'm referring back to when I interviewed you for Here in Color, when you were with them, when you were talking about how New Sense originally started, you mentioned that it was a band originally, right?
Yeah. So in around 8th grade, me and my friends decided to start a band, and it was originally called Era because Ethan, Ryan, and Adam were our names. So
kind of like that, actually.
Yeah. And so we did that, you know, up until senior year, pretty much. But we would just like jam. It was just like a fun thing. Yeah, you know, just like Weezer covers, Green Day covers, that type of stuff. And then like as our music taste like went in different directions, you know, it was interesting because like I think at one point we all had different kind of things we wanted it to be, I think, but like it was still fun. But when we would try to write a song, really write a song, like, you know, one guy would want it to be like a prog thing, like a Tool thing. Mm-hmm. And then me, I was like starting to get into Mac DeMarco and like
more indie stuff.
Yeah, so I wanted it to be like that type of thing. And then the other guy wanted it to be like a jazz thing or something. Yeah, but yeah, it was fun though. Oh, and then like eventually I came up with New Sense for it, like junior year or something, just randomly. It's one of those names that I just was like, oh, nuisance sounds like nuisance. Like no real story behind it. I just thought of it one day. Yeah.
That's an interesting story. How you kind of like went from like it's almost like the classic story of what happens like to people who just kind of start bands that young. It's kind of interesting though that I feel like you. I mean, I don't know who those other guys are. I don't know where they are, but it sounds like you definitely like took something from that. Like it's not like it was its own identity and you kind of just were like, oh, that's done. I guess music's done. Like, do you think that like having a band that early in your like musical development helped you like in your new sense stuff?
Oh, most definitely. Like it all coalesced into what it is today, and like that, I'm still like hella good friends with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're the homies, and like we're still like nuisance. Like it's just like if we have the time, if we had the time, we would be like a band. But they're like, you know, one's going to NYU, one's going to Santa Barbara.
So yeah, kind of just different lanes.
Yeah.
And I mean that's like that happens a lot with bands. It's like people trail off, they go into different times in their life, and you know whatever it is. But I feel like people assume that there has to be bad blood. I don't.
No, yeah.
There's
never been bad blood.
And that's kind of the cool thing. It's like sometimes people just go off in different directions, and then like this old band just becomes this like these cool memories, and that's just it's nothing deeper than that, you know, like. And it's rooted in positivity. I feel like people always try to put a negative spin on it. And it's like the band broke up, but it's like no, maybe the band just grew up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, facts.
Did you when you guys originally saw making music as that band, and you kind of transitioned into your own new sense type lane? Could you have like foreseen yourself making music for that much longer, or were you like did you get out of the band and were like, okay, I'm gonna hit the ground running and take this seriously, or were you more like, oh, this is done, let me do it as a hobby, and then it kind of progressed into what it is now?
Well, so also during that time, I was like, I had a different kind of like artist name called Sykes. Where I would just post like beats and stuff.
Like the fish from Shark Tales?
Yeah, it was like it's like a last name that's in our family. Like I don't go by that anymore, but it was like SSYKE. Anyway, and I was just kind of fucking around with different like styles of like producing. Just fucking around with Ableton stuff. I would do like lo-fi stuff, and then like remix a rap acapella. Anyway, so, but I was also into like the indie rock stuff. So yeah, I just basically, to answer your question, I took what I was doing on that Sykes one and just tweaked it a little bit and went by New Sense as like an artist name, as like a hobby at first, to just post my own like stuff that was a slightly different genre than the Sykes one.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
If you were given the opportunity to like join a band again, do you think you would, or do you think it'd be more like I'm kind of doing my own thing now?
That's a good question. I mean, to play, if New Sense had the opportunity to play live, you know, I think it would be cool to play with a band. But I wouldn't want to like join a new band separate from the New Sense thing, you know? Like, I would want it to be like, I would make the New Sense songs by myself, or like somewhat, and then play live with a band,
like a Tame Impala type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It seems like there's actually more and more people like taking that route, like playing stuff live with the band and going by a band name, but then actually producing and making the music by themselves.
Right. Yeah.
So, how did you meet Here in Color eventually? So when you go to DVC, you're out of high school, is that how you met them?
Pretty much. Like, there's this class called songwriting, and it's basically you go to the class and all it is people showing their music and getting feedback on it. Like, there's no homework or anything. All you do is show your music, and then the class gives you feedback and the teacher gives you feedback. And so we were both in that class, and we both like fucked with each other's stuff, basically. And then they had
all of you guys were in that class?
Yeah. And then they had like a showcase at the end of the semester, and they played at it, and then it was it was after that showcase that we kind of linked up, and we were like, hey, I like your stuff, you like my stuff, you know, let's do some stuff.
And then after that, you produced their EP, right?
Yeah, eventually. We did. We started on that "If It Rains" song. Like that's one of the first songs we made together. And then, later down the line, they had me produce their EP.
Wow. Okay.
One thing led to another.
And there's a rapper on that song too, right? If I recall.
Oh yeah, Austin. He was also in the songwriting class.
Wow. So yeah. See, I feel like you made a lot of connections through DVC.
Yeah.
Like, people act like it's not possible.
For sure.
So you said that like in between the new sense and like the old new sense and whatever you had in the middle, and then the new sense, you're making beats and stuff. So when back then, were you trying to go more into production lane, or when did you start like singing on your songs?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. It's a whole complicated like story because everything just like came together at one point. But there's just like a bunch of moving parts in the beginning. But also because like I really didn't know what genre I wanted to do at all. I was doing like so many different shit. Like EDM. I was really into EDM at one point, so I was doing that type of stuff. And then but when I was doing that, I never sang at all. It was only when like the New Sense band was like, yo, we got to get a singer because like we want to start writing our own stuff. And like we tried out like a couple female singer friends, but like nothing really worked out. Like they just didn't want to show up, I guess. I don't remember.
Like be committed.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, so basically my singing just like me being more confident about singing started from just a lack of having a singer in the band. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just try it. I'll try it out. And then so I started singing on it and like, just singing the covers that we were doing and stuff. And then I started, just practicing more like recording my singing and being more confident, like building that confidence in my singing, I guess, yeah.
And then, so when you were in New Sense, you were playing guitar? Is that what you were doing?
Yeah, guitar and keys.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And then eventually you kind of transitioned in that singer role as well.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys ever play live, or it never got to that point?
So we played at like one house party thing at the bassist's house, actually. That was really fun. And we also played at our school's last play of senior year.
That's dope.
And that was really fun too. We just played like the music for intermission, and then like we would do like sound effects when something would happen, like, or like the drummer would do like a crazy thing when like someone would throw something, Yeah, it was really fun.
Were you in band at all, like when you were in high school?
So I actually played violin in 7th grade, but I was never good at like that type of instrument where it required like like playing to a sheet music thing and people like telling me what to do. I was like way in the back, I was never very good at violin, but I did do that for like a substantial amount of time actually. And yeah, maybe that, who's to say if that like played into some kind of style that I have, I don't know. But
what do you play now on your New Sense songs mostly? Like I know mostly you're behind the keyboard, but then like in terms of live instruments, like what do you usually incorporate, you individually?
Just like I guess keyboard and guitar are the main ones. And I'm trying to do more sample stuff. Like a lot. Yeah, sometimes I'll just manipulate a sample to like to shit where you can't even like tell what it is anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some of that. Yeah.
Let's talk about the EP a little bit too, because that project's pretty interesting to me. I liked it a lot. When you made that project, was the plan originally to self-title it, or was that kind of something that came after you started it?
Yeah, like something that came after I started it.
Was there a reason, or you just wanted to self-title it?
I just thought it would be a cool name for the first EP I put out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think Nuisance is a cool name, and I think it like evokes the like vibe of the songs in a good way.
Are you planning on putting out a lot more Nuisance projects?
Yeah, for the next one I want to do. Well, I mean, I don't know like when, but I want to do more like organic sounds, like I was talking about for the next one, for sure. Like maybe more sample stuff. Yeah.
Are you looking into like performing the songs off the new EP live, you think?
Yeah. I already. I'm doing a show with Here in Color, in like Emeryville, like a mall. So.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we're doing it like.
A mall?
Yeah, like a plaza.
Okay, like an outdoor type
Yeah,
thing.
people are just gonna like. There's not gonna be a set crowd. People are just gonna.
That's kind of cool though. I feel like that'd be a fun opportunity, cool thing to do.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Where? Okay, so when you are making a song with somebody else, right? Like your process seems very collaborative. Like on the EP, there's a lot of like other names on that project. When you were collaborating with somebody, how does that process usually go? Like, do you come to them with a beat and then you're like, do whatever they're going to respectively do on that beat, they do that? Or is it kind of like you build the beat together? Or how's that process usually play out?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's really different each time, but with the Here in Color people, I'll usually have a beat that I've been working on, and then they'll come in with some ideas for like guitar riffs or something, or like, oh, maybe you could do this effect here, or maybe you could do this here. So they'll come with their own ideas, and then either they'll come with their own like vocal ideas, or I'll have a set like flow. Usually the flow is the first thing that comes to me. So I'll do like a dummy lyric thing, like, you know, like something like that, and then they'll like write to that flow type thing. Mm-hmm. That happens a lot. That is what happened with the last track, Flight 380. That one I had it like completely done myself, and I was like, oh, Faith would sound really good on this. So I just hit up Faith and was like, oh, could you do this type of thing for the last part? And she did it.
Huh, that's cool. Were there any instrumentalists on the album that weren't you, or was it all you?
Yeah, so Isaiah did a lot of the guitar work on the first two songs. And I think the third song too, he did some stuff. Yeah. Yeah, he definitely did a lot on the first two songs. Like that crazy solo you hear on Dance Through the Night after Austin's verse, that's Isaiah. And then a lot of other, like some of the funky guitar on that one too.
There's a lot of really cool solos on the project.
Yeah. The last one, on Flight 380, I think that's all me. But yeah, a lot of guitar on Every Time is Isaiah. You can kind of tell, I think. We have like different styles.
What do you mean?
Like I mean like cuz I don't know, he's just more like in tune with it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. The rhythm is like better or something.
I kind of know what you mean.
Yeah, you can just tell when it's Isaiah. Yeah.
Where did the cover art from the project come from?
Oh, so that's like this theater in Australia that I found off this real estate site, and then I just edited it hella, I put like space in it, and I also saw, honestly, on the Tame Impala Reddit, someone like made another edit of that, but it looked like really different. It was like a whole nother color scheme and stuff. So I was like, I feel like I can make that my own thing. So yeah, the album is like, the color scheme is like purple and a lot of purples and pinks in there. And then the original one was more like yellow and red.
You said it's from a real estate site? Like, what was the picture originally?
Yeah, it was just a picture of the
like a home theater or something?
Yeah, and then I just like cropped it.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
You just flipped that like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you edit photos a lot like that, or are you into that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of for the same reason that I started singing. It's just like I didn't have the money for like to hire a photo editor, and like my mom had like the Adobe suite because she used to be a photographer and stuff. So yeah, I just used that and learned Photoshop a little bit from like YouTube and stuff.
I feel like you're very like DIY. Like you kind of like see something and you're like, I don't know how to do this, but I'll learn. I feel like that's a valuable trait for a musician to have. It's like you can just look at something and say like, I'm gonna dismantle this and I'm gonna learn how to do it. I know, like, honestly, I've done a lot of the same stuff. Like Photoshop, like I kind of just learned from YouTube. Like Premiere and all these Adobe softwares, I kind of just learned from YouTube. And like recording and stuff, I kind of just learned from YouTube.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, it's all YouTube. Like everything that I know, or a lot of it is from YouTube, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's a lot of truth to just being like a fully DIY, like functional person, because you can learn anything on YouTube, man. It's crazy. Yeah. Like I don't know what I would do without it.
Yeah, for real.
The rest of your cover art, did you do? Because a lot of them are really cool. Like, I can't remember the song exactly, but the one with the light I thought was really sick, and the one with the shoes I thought was really cool, and it's all pretty like cohesive.
Yeah, that was the one with the light. It was my friend Sio. She did like a concept for it, just on like paper, and then I like put it into Photoshop and like turned into a vector image type thing. And then I actually, for some of them, I hired a Fiverr guy to like clean it up, because the way I was doing it didn't look like super clean. So he's the one, I think he does it through Illustrator or something, because that's how you turn into like a vector image, so it like cleans it up. So yeah, I just paid someone on Fiverr to like clean it up.
Fiverr's clutch, dude.
Yeah.
Fiverr's such a cool idea. Like just like I think it's such an important thing for freelancers to be able to like have like a whole hub for where they can like just do their work and like just get their work out into the world like that. I think it's a really cool thing for like people who are looking for stuff like that too.
Yeah, for sure. It's really nice.
So, what about the one with the shoes? Did you do that one?
Oh, yeah, to be honest, man, that one's just straight from Pinterest. That's the only one that is just totally stolen. I like, you know, fucked with this hue. So I did that much. But, yeah, I'm outing myself right now. If I need to change it, I will. You know, if it gets that popular, I'll change it.
If the random Pinterest artist who made it finds you, then yeah.
I'm happy to change it if someone wants me to change it.
That like that cover and like a lot of your other covers like are very cohesive to me. Like, is that like intentional? Do you try to find things that work well together and like look good together, like, or do you just kind of say this one's cool for this one's cool for this?
Yeah, I definitely think about that a lot. So it is intentional. Sometimes I just get lucky with it. I wasn't sure if the new EP would match some of the other ones, just because the other ones are like cartoony kind of, and then the EP's not. But yeah, I think it matches like well enough. But yeah, I'd say I definitely think about that a lot, and like try to have a cohesive aesthetic for sure.
Is the cover art usually like the last thing you'll go for, or like does everything come before that, or is that somewhere in the process?
It's like one of the last things. Yeah, on like singles, it's the last thing. But on the EP, I did start thinking about it like a little earlier than usual.
Does that movie theater kind of like relate to any of the themes in the EP, or is it just a cool photo?
Well, I thought about it like, well, I mean, at first I did it because it's just a cool photo.
Yeah.
But then I thought of a meaning later where it was like, oh, they're watching. It's like the space is like the EP or something, or like the sound, and people are like watching it or something.
I do that with stuff all the time. Like,
Yeah.
I'll give it a random name or whatever, and then like I come back later and I'm like, oh, I guess maybe this could mean this as well.
Yeah, that almost happened with the EP too. Like there almost started there was almost a concept forming behind it, because I had like 2 other songs that I was working on that I was gonna put on it, but they just didn't work out to be on it. But they I could see, like, because I put them on there just because I made a really cool transition from the first song to the second song, like a Pink Floyd style, like seamless transition thing, and then just like based on the lyrics and the vibe, I was like, oh, there could be a concept here. But yeah, it just didn't work out to make it that.
I love that transition from the first song to the second song. It's like one of my favorite moments on the project.
Oh, thanks.
And I feel like I don't know if this was like a thing you would think about, but like both those bass lines, like to me, seem like almost one and the same. Like I don't know, man. There were so many cool bass lines on the project that I love.
Thanks, man. Yeah, that's a big part of it, is like getting the bass right, and like getting the tone of it right, and yeah, all that.
Did you play bass on the album, or did somebody else?
Yeah, I did play bass.
Wow. Okay. So what's like the fullest of instruments you play? If you started on violin and you play guitar and bass and stuff.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say I play violin anymore,
Yeah.
but yeah, just bass, keys, and guitar are the main ones, I'd say. And you know, I have like a sitar.
Sitars were so badass.
Yeah. It's like it's a really random purchase that I made. I used to be really into like psychedelic rock, like classic psychedelic rock.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, but so I try to play that sometimes. Yeah.
Do you ever write on those instruments, or do you pretty much write with the beat first and then just build off that? Like, do you ever start with a guitar line, or like start with the bottom line or something?
Yeah. Confused was it started on guitar. It's like a guitar progression that I had, and I think If It Rains was like that too. Or well, yeah, like started from the piano chord progression, and so yeah, it just depends, really. But on a lot of them, I'll have like a certain vibe in mind, or like a certain tone I'm trying to achieve. Like, so that's how I'll kind of start it. So basically, like trying to get the sound right rather than the progression right, and then the progression will come like after I get the sound, like, because then the sound will inform the progression. That's what happens on a lot of stuff. Like, I'm thinking of Flight 380. That's what happened on that one.
Is that song just you, or Valente's on that, right? Or is that the one before it?
Valente's on the one before it.
Okay,
yeah.
That's right. That's cool. The whole EP, like from front to back, how long did that process kind of take? You record the whole thing?
Well, the first one, we've been sitting on that for like a year, or we started that like last year, and it just like took a lot of like remixing, I guess. Like yeah, like just thinking of like what else we needed. Just a lot of meditating on that one, but then oh, also the Dance Through the Night one, it's a long story because my friend Cam, like we had a beat together, or he sent me a beat, and then I like remixed that, and then like we had that, like we made a kind of song with that, and then I remixed that like totally different, like 3 months later or something, and then that's where the original, like that's where the instrumental for Dance Through the Night came. And then by that time it was a completely different song from what it started as. Like that was a big like evolution of that song.
What changed on it?
So originally, well, I don't even remember what the original like really sounded like. I think it was just like drums and like a bass thing that he did. And then I added those like guitars that you can still hear in the background. It's like you have to like really listen to it, but it's just like the guitar is just playing the chords, you know. So that was from the first remix that I did. Those were like still there. That's the thing that stayed the same. But originally it was more of like a less, it was just like less funky. It was like more, I don't know, like a straight
Stagnant.
beat. Yeah. And it was cool in its own right. It was just like a different vibe, like more 80s almost.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of 80s still, but it's like more like coming of age movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but then I like remixed it so it was more like groovy and stuff. And then I got Austin and TJ on it.
That's sick, man.
Oh, but sorry, to answer your question, probably like, besides those two, like half a year or like from December to June is when I like really did most of the work on it.
Yeah, that's like a big chunk of time.
Yeah.
Directly following that, did you start working on more music? Like, are you somebody who's constantly working on stuff, or do you kind of take breaks between projects?
Oh well, through the EP making process, I actually took a lot of breaks just because, and I feel like it was for the best, because like you really start to get in your head almost, at least for me. Like if you listen to it over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just take like a week, 2 week long break from it if I started feeling like I started to hate it or I started to like not even know the direction I wanted to go, like overthinking shit. So and then that would like hella help with it, and then I would return like a week later and then with a fresh mind. And then but like yeah, between projects I'll take a break from making new songs, and yeah, I'll kind of work on like promotion almost, maybe. Like that's what I've been doing this past like couple weeks, is just like working on promotion, like submitting to blogs and stuff. And but then I feel like music's always been like not even something I consciously work on. It's just something like it's more play than work. It's always been like that. So I'll just like casually do stuff on the piano, you know, just like jamming, and then I'll like find a progression that I like, and I'm like, oh, I'll have to like save that and like record that later or something. That's a cool idea.
Yeah, I can't imagine like just replaying like something you made over and over and over again. I feel like if I were to do that, I would find something new to hate, despite how good it was every single time I listened to it. Like, that'd be tough.
Yeah, it's always like that, man. Like it like a lot of times, even when I release it, I still hate parts of it. But honestly, with this EP, like I like it. Like that hasn't happened. It didn't happen this time. I'm able to like listen to it and enjoy it, which is good. But yeah, on a lot of my other songs, like I'm like, I could have, like I still have that self-critic in there.
Do you find yourself being a perfectionist when it comes to your music like that?
Yeah, definitely. It'll always just be like, the worst part of it is like after you mix it or you get a rough mix, and then you're just putting the final touches on it, and then you're like, oh, there's this little thing that needs to be EQ'd different, or there's this like little like effect in it that doesn't have enough reverb on it. So one thing you do is like you bounce it out and play it in the car, because I think different environments like really like help to like have you see the like how it sounds in different areas, because like you can tell stuff that you can't tell on the speakers in here. But so that's just annoying. Like you bounce it to your phone and then you go on a drive and then you listen to all these things that you want different. So you got to go back in here and then bounce it again. And then you like find more things, and it's just a process.
Yeah, it makes sense that process would take a long time. Like a lot of people say like you have your entire life to record your first project, and then if it does well, you have a year to record your second.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you like actively working on a second project right now?
No. I just have ideas for it, and I have a lot of like songs that I'll probably go back to, like a million songs that are like just on the computer. One thing I'm trying to do is back everything up before I start another thing, because there are
this guy's huge on that. He's really good about that. I'm not so much good about that.
Hell yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, there are so many close calls with like it just getting too hot in here, and then shit like crashing, because like my computer does not do well in the heat at all.
Does that become a problem like regularly, like the heat temperature in here? That's everybody's worry about like building a shed studio or building something in a shed. It's like the insulation and or the AC. Yeah,
I mean, it was a huge problem for a while. I did just get a AC, so it's been like less of a problem, but on those 100-degree days, man, it's still
There's
bad.
Not much you can do.
Yeah.
Shout out to the AC.
Yeah,
I saw that like one thing you've been doing too is like scoring short films. Is that something you want to do more of? Or
yeah, that's really fun to do. Like, I'd be really down to do that as like a career, I think. Yeah, it's like, it's fun just like trying to match the vibe of a thing, of a visual like medium. And yeah, I think it's a different process doing the like animation stuff and doing the horror movie stuff. But it's like really, really fun either way. Yeah.
How does your process differ when you're going to make like a film score opposed to like a normal New Sense song?
Well, the ones that I have done, well, aside from the first one I did, which was like a year ago or something, so the first one I ever did was, I basically went about it the same way that I would a New Sense song. I just made the songs like by myself. And because she just gave me like an outline, like, oh, I want it to sound like 50s, like a 50s song.
So damn broad.
I honestly have no idea how it worked out the way it did, because she didn't even show me like any visuals from it either. She was like, I just want a 50s song. Here are some references.
Here you go.
Yeah, and then
the whole I want you to summarize the entire genre, the entire 10 years of the 50s into one song.
Yeah, so but it worked out. Like, she liked it and stuff. It's on YouTube. It's the Gummy Worms soundtrack. Anyway, the two I did after that were a lot more collaborative because I did them with Isaiah. And we did get to see the rough cut of the short film when we were making it. So we would just be on Zoom, and then we would be like, oh, let's have this happen here. Let's have this happen here. And then we would be with the director as well, or the animator.
How'd you meet those people, like those animators and directors?
They've both been through Isaiah, actually. Like, Isaiah just looped me into it, kind of. And they're just like they're both just his friends that do movie stuff, and they're really talented. Yeah.
So is your goal, like, in the end, to do music full time? Is that like what you want to do?
Yeah, in some way. I don't know like exactly what I want to do music wise. It could be doing film scores. It could be just being a full-time artist. It could be a music producer. I haven't really put all my eggs in one basket yet.
I think that's smart.
Yeah. I'm leaving it open.
So it's just like finding some way to make music your career.
Yeah. Just doing what I can,
Yeah.
Yeah. Just trying different stuff.
What do you think the next step in that process is? Like, do you think I know we were talking about this earlier. You're thinking about moving down to LA and stuff. Do you think that's the next step?
Yeah, it could be. It could be like just to try it out, just to see how I like it, I guess. Like, I visited there about a month or two ago, and it just I feel like I kind of connected with it a little bit. I was like, I could see myself living here. Yeah, it seems like it would be fun, and I think I could make some cool stuff there.
100%. Just like being down there myself, it's just like it's a vial of inspiration. It's
Yeah,
crazy just
a lot
being
of
around that
inspiration.
many like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. Tell everybody where to get your music, where they can find you.
So, you can find me at it's New Sense on Spotify, Apple Music, and all platforms. New EP came out June 30th, also called New Sense.
All right. Thank you very much, brother.
Yeah, thanks
Appreciate
for
it.
having me.